So in this session, we're going to talk about how the new year's coming up. And in the new year, we often create these things called resolutions, and then nothing happens, right? By week 3 of January, third week of January or so, it's like they never even happened. And so what do we do to really set a benchmark for our body and then actually fulfill it, actually make sure that it's not just a New Year's resolution that seems like a happy thought or positive thinking that's just never going to come to fruition. And so there are a couple details that need to come together. We have to combine emotion and tactics. Okay, so we need to understand what is the outcome that we're going to achieve. And what a lot of people will do when they create a New Year's resolution is they say, I want to have a six-pack, or this is the year I lose a bunch of weight. And it's very ambiguous, right? It's just sort of like a positive idea about how we'd like to better our body or our health in some way or some manner. And it's usually very nonspecific. And so if we want to really create a transformational event this year where we truly do create the body and vitality that we all deserve to have, and that's totally possible for you, the first step is set a benchmark in a truest sense, which is a specific, attainable outcome that you want to achieve. So we've got to start with a specific, attainable outcome that you want to achieve. And so it might be, I want to weigh 135 pounds, or I want to weigh 180 pounds, like very specific. And I'd like to be 12% body fat or 15% body fat, or maybe tie that to a benchmark that has some kind of athletic component to it. I want to be able to run, 5 miles easily and feel really great afterwards. So, I'm running 5 miles 2 days a week and I feel really great before, during, and after, right? And so it starts with a specific attainable benchmark, right? That's step one. But then that specific attainable benchmark can't just be a dry outcome or result that we name, because then there's no motivation to achieve it. And so the way we want to combine emotion with that benchmark is you want to imagine what is the outcome of having fulfilled that benchmark in a lifestyle sense. And so if you weigh 175 pounds or 130 pounds or whatever your mark is, and maybe you do look the way you want to look, and you do have this physique, and you do have this energy that you want to attain, right? Like high levels of abundant energy all day long. Well, what would that translate to in a lifestyle perspective? Perhaps you would imagine yourself wearing certain clothes or outfits and feeling confident as you walk through your day and you walk through the world. Perhaps you're just imagining yourself doing activities that you love doing, like hiking through the woods or skiing or mountain biking, or maybe you're a traveler and so you're going to different places and you have plenty of energy to walk the city and go to all the sites that you want to go see. Or maybe it's playing with the grandkids, right? Maybe you have grandchildren and you just want to keep up with the little people that have so much energy, and that's what you want to do, right? And you want to be able to make sure you're pacing with them. And so you want to put a visual to the benchmark and imagine yourself actually doing activities with the kids that you enjoy. Actually imagine yourself and use visualization as a way to ignite emotion within your nervous system and tie it to the achievement of that benchmark. And so we've got to link the two together. You got to take the benchmark and the lifestyle reality that it'll mean to achieve it, and we've got to consistently put these two things together. A lot of times when people name a benchmark, they feel overwhelmed, they feel like a failure before they even start, they feel a lot of shame and guilt because it's like this is just another thing they're going to commit to doing and failing. And so the way we're going to counteract all of that is we're going to replace it with a visualization of what it will mean to us in a very real and practical way from a lifestyle perspective if we actually achieve the result, the outcome of this benchmark. And that'll start to create a nice positive association emotionally to the benchmark itself. Joy, connection, love, empowerment, confidence to the benchmark. And so we'll start to create an inner motivation to wanting to achieve it. And then the final component of this is we've got to know what to do. And so if we want to achieve that weight goal and we want to have the energy that we all aspire to, we've got to understand, well, what is the practical tactics that we've got to execute in order to achieve the outcome? And we've got to understand it not as something we do temporarily, but as a lifestyle implementation. When we relate to something as this is the evolution of my lifestyle I'm taking on, it's very different than just achieving a goal. which is why I'm not using the word goal, right? I'm using the word benchmark. Hey, I've got this benchmark for who I want to become and what do I want to achieve, that then directly translates to an up-leveling of the quality of life that I'm going to live, an evolution of myself. And so I don't want to just be fit for a minute. I want to be fit as a way of being. I don't want to have high energy just for a moment. I want to have that high energy as a way of being. I don't want to just look fantastic for a short window of time, you know, my wedding or looking good on the beach for the summer. I want this to be the way I am as a way of being. I want to be known as this to myself and to other people. And when we relate to it that way, you know, it changes the game. And sure, the tactics might look like tuning up nutrition or, you know, starting a solid movement plan that becomes a way of being, becomes a lifestyle. It might be making sure we rest and recover properly with our sleep patterns in the evening and things of that nature. There are so many things we could be doing to optimize our health and our well-being and the benchmarks that we want to achieve with the body, but it starts with understanding what we need to do. And so then name the tactics. Tactics should be a daily thing that we execute at the very minimum week over week. So what is the daily or weekly action that I'm going to take every single day, every single week, and hopefully hit it at least 80 to 90% of the time so I achieve the benchmark and, more importantly, the quality of life that I truly aspire to. And so this year, let's move away from resolutions that aren't going to happen, good intentions that never come to fruition, and let's truly set some life-enhancing benchmarks this year by bringing these three components together. Number one, name the specific outcome and result that you want to achieve. What's the benchmark we're going to attain as it pertains to the body? Step two, what's that going to mean for a lifestyle reality? When I achieve that outcome and result for myself, how is it going to up-level the quality of my life? And then number three, what is the consistent action plan, the tactics that I'm going to execute while moving toward that benchmark and while activating that emotional lever, if you will, tied to the outcome and the visualization practices that we just talked about. If you combine these three components, you're going to start evolving yourself in a sustainable way, and now all of a sudden resolutions aren't the norm. It becomes each year I'm going to evolve myself and I'm going to get a little better than the year before and come to realize the construction or the design of the life that I truly want to live and that's truly possible for you. And so we go deeper into this in our vision sections that we've recorded before this. Check those out as well. If you want to understand more about how do you ignite the emotional intensity to connect with your benchmark around that visualization practice, that'll help you out with that. And so once again, three things. Number one, specific outcome result you're going to attain with the body. Step two, activate the emotion that you're going to feel tied to that benchmark. So what visualization are you going to imagine yourself living once having achieved that specific attainable benchmark? And then number three, what is the action plan that you are going to execute on daily and or weekly and make sure that you incorporate it as a lifestyle reality, not just a one-time event. And if we take on this intention or this attitude as we move into this next year, you truly can position yourself to become the best version of yourself and create the best life possible. Enjoy.